Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is our take 3 of this episode of the podcast. This is the Fellowship of Fandoms podcast. I'm Strider. Here with me, I have, as usual, my good old friend Shiv. And we're going to be talking about the Wheel of Time tonight. And yeah, we are starting season 2, so it's a big one. And yeah, Shiv, welcome. How are you? And how do you feel about the fact that we are already starting season 2?
Doing pretty good, and I'm bringing my same level of confusion to season 2 now that they introduced more characters. So I feel bad for our listeners as I ask, well, who is that, and try to pronounce their name for the first time. So look forward to that, I guess, throughout this entire episode.
I mean, that's fair. It's a big world. It really is, and like it just keeps expanding, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. I think that's just a normal thing when you're opening a new big epic fantasy world, whether it's you're opening a book or you're starting a game or watching a movie, whatever. I think it makes sense. I guess movies should aim to not be that confusing, but like I feel like TV shows and so on, like and books especially. I guess video games as well. Basically, those three mediums do kind of have like some kind of leeway there to be like a little bit confusing until you get into the whole thing. But that's what makes rewatch more fun when it's like, oh, there's so many things, and it's like the next time you're watching it, it's like I see now. That's really cool, and I think that is going to be an emotion that I will be experiencing actually quite a lot, as I have so far. I have been enjoying this rewatch a lot, and I'm really sorry I haven't given it a proper chance before season 3 came out. So before we start with the episode, so we're covering episodes 1 and 2 today. Before we start with those, just a little teaser. And I will be doing which Aja are you quiz at the end of towards the end of the episode. So if you just want to hear which Aes Sedai one of two of us would be, you can just skip to the end of the episode and laugh at our life choices as we do the quiz. But yeah, I guess
Somehow, I
we can.
suspect I'm going to be Hufflepuff somehow. Doesn't make sense, but I'm going to end up being Hufflepuff.
I did get Hufflepuff, which does fit. I want to be like Gryffindor, strong and brave, but I'm a Hobbit in my heart. So I'll probably be like a healer, like the yellow Aja or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Ooh,
Or like the nerds. I think the nerds are the brown Aja. I think they're like the ones in the library and everything, like the lore masters. So I'm gonna
so
either be like the nice healer person or the nerd, one of those, or both somehow.
that brings up a good teaser too. So the house I got placed in when I did the official quiz was Ravenclaw. So if I was
There we go.
Ravenclaw, what do you suspect my Aja to be?
Then it's a brown one,
All
or
right.
it's one of those probably. We'll see. I think the white or like the gray one. I don't know, one of those. I think that's like the politicians. So maybe that could kind of like go there, but that's a bit more Slytherin. But I don't know how they, what's the vibe. It depends on the fandom, I guess. So, but I think if you're going based of that, I'm either well, I'll probably end up being a healer. You'll probably end up being brown. But let's see. We'll
Cool.
get to it at the end of the episode. But speaking of episodes, what a brilliant segue. The episode 1 starts with a mysterious gathering, and there's a girl playing in front of this like big house or building. There's a lot, and then there's Trolloc. She goes in. There's a lot of different. There's 10 or so figures around the table, and they're all wearing like black hoods, and it's hard to notice. However, the girl crawls under the table, and there are actually hints towards some characters that we end up seeing later in the show that turn out to
Hmm.
be interesting. So one of them is actually kind of revealed at the end of episode 2, but we'll get to that, and like it will become very obvious very soon. But yeah, so how was the opening? And okay, and not just the opening. Tell me, how do you feel about the look and the vibe of season 2 so far? So the opening, and then like the look, like maybe like the quality of like. Do you notice? Is there a difference towards season 1 compared to season 1?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I'll probably answer in reverse, talking about the look first. I noticed, whether it's artificial or not, like film grain, like texture in certain scenes. So I'm almost wondering if they kind of changed their strategy with photography for season 2, because I noticed the shots were more quote unquote artsy. Like they had a different color palette. I almost felt like it felt like a
Yeah.
different director of photography or something was involved with this season. I didn't look it up to see if that's the case or not, but Yeah, there definitely seems a different quality in that aspect. And so far, I haven't had any complaints on CGI. There wasn't a lot of like CGI intensive scenes yet, I don't think, from what I remember. But yeah, I think there's been a quality improvement. I will say, this is jumping ahead a little bit. We talked about Matt being recast, and I think the reasons for the previous actor was like mental health concerns and stuff, or some of the rumors.
I think
And
it's not officially clear what it is, but yeah,
yeah,
there's something.
no official statement. And the new actor, I read online, he like people appreciate him and really like his portrayal. I haven't seen enough screen time with him yet to make an assessment, but I will say the previous Matt definitely did a good job of looking like miserable on screen. Like, I mean, he was going through a lot, like the getting corrupted and stuff by the dagger and the blade or whatever. But yeah, this actor seems a little bit more clean, for lack of a better word. And I don't know, as the story progresses, does he get a little bit dark again, or is he on the path now of recovery from the madness he once had? So yeah, that's my only thing right now is I notice he's a little bit more clean cut looking and less miserable. I don't know. I don't know the book. I haven't read the books. Yeah, that's the caveat for people tuning in for the first time. This is my first watch through of this, and this is Strider's second rewatch, right? So, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm flying completely blind over here.
I do like this guy. I think he definitely steps in a pretty nice way into this whole thing. And Matt will kind of be recovering from his dagger experiences as the story goes. But also, there's also like this: what am I doing in this world? Where am I? Like, I feel like it's maybe the most pronounced with him, and I think we will see more of it. Like he's not off the hook with darkness. Let's say it like this. Like there's stuff there, but he is definitely one of the more interesting characters to me. And yeah, I'll keep it like that for now because he doesn't do that much in these 2 episodes except being stuck in a prison. I mean, we can quickly just address this. So I know you said before we started streaming recording that it's like when did he get captured? Moiraine, I think, sent a message to the Red Ajah warning them of Matt Cawthon in the 8th episode. And we see him actually reaching Tarvalon. So I guess at some point Leandrin caught him. I don't know if this is the way it happens in the books, or actually it's not. I guess it shouldn't be because in the books he goes with them through the portals and so on. So I don't know. I don't know where's the deviation point,
Hmm.
or I guess this is just like a way they're trying to like get him back to kind of where he's supposed to be, but I don't think they've even managed to do this even by the end of season 3 completely. But yeah, let's see. But speaking of the tower, I was kind of thinking we might go a different way, but we might as well go there as we are here right now. Egwene and Nynaeve are in the tower and they're struggle, like they're trying to figure everything out. And yeah, what did you think of their time in the tower? And I feel like especially that shot or like that scene or that cut of Egwene just walking through the tower from the top through all the rooms and hallways and like on the outside terrace and so on, and then she reaches this bottom. She's like the kitchen, I guess. I thought that was actually pretty neat. Like I think it managed
Hmm.
to show us different parts of the tower. But again, for me, this is a rewatch, so I know what I'm looking for, what to expect, and so on. So, like, what was your read on this? Like, did you feel like, oh, okay, I kind of know a bit more about the tower now, I guess, and like more about the way it works? What was
Yeah,
your opinion of the tower and their life in the tower?
yeah. Similarly to the previous episode when you talked about like in Lord of the Rings when Gandalf gets to Minas Tirith and they show the horse riding through the city, I feel like that was similar to this where we're seeing her walk through the city. We're getting a better feel for its vastness and the tower's vastness, I should say. So yeah, I appreciate that. If we talked about Hufflepuff at the beginning, we think about the kids running through Hogwarts and getting a better understanding of the castle. So it does a good job of like, oh, there's this, there's that. Then there was that kind of like secret stairwell. I don't know if that was this episode or the next one, but yeah, it's nice how
We
they
can, I mean, we can go to that as well. I mean, we can kind of go through this whole storyline. So yeah, like what happens is at some point Nynaeve is following Liandrin, who has volunteered to or asked to be her teacher, and we learn actually that she's forbidden to train novices because one novice died under her care, which is like a wild thing to say, but also oddly enough similar to Hogwarts, where
Yeah.
every once in a while, a student gets killed or worse, expelled. 10 points for
Wow.
your house if you know what I just did there. But yeah, so yeah, we follow. You can just you can say your angle on like this whole Nynaeve Liandrin storyline going on, and then maybe the culmination of it that we get to.
Yeah, so I guess this is going to be a mixed up episode because I'm probably talking a lot about what happened in episode 2, if I remember right. But my overall for the storyline so far has been like we talked about how like actually their age is more so in like the teenage realm. We're getting more of that kind of drama this season so far. Like, um, especially with Egwene saying like, "Oh, they only care about Nynaeve, and I'm trying to make a name for myself." And then you have the rich royal
Yep,
roommate kind of getting in her ear and
Elaine.
stuff. I'm like, oh, this definitely feels more like high school, drama right now. But yeah, that character and it's kind of I think she does a good job of like portraying like coming from money, coming from royalty, and kind of not fully understanding the world a bit. You have a little bit of that going on, but she tends to understand the politics side because she gave Egwene that kind of harsh but accurate advice of like, hey, jealousy doesn't look well on you. So yeah, she might end up being like I don't know, just met her, but she could be a good asset to Egwene or could be a downfall. I don't know. But yeah, did you want me to talk about how this culminates to her following the
Yeah, I mean,
character?
it kind of ties in, and I think you covered it well. So, yeah, Elaine is the daughter heir of Andor, which we have already discussed the name of this country, which is a very famous name apparently across the multiverse of epic fantasy and sci-fi. And yeah, she and Egwene kind of get closer. I feel like there was a couple of nice little hints and who she is as a person and what she's like. And I thought that was this moment where she's about to get her whichever Aes Sedai allowed her to get all her fancy stuff in her room is about to get punished. And the lady that's like in charge of the novices, she's like, tell me her name, she's punished. And then Elaine is like, okay, well, if there's a punishment, I will take the punishment, so please tell me what I need to do. And she takes the pork herself, which I thought was like, oh, well, that's neat.
Hmm.
That's nice. So yeah, and then from there, this is like bouncing off of Nynaeve as she's getting kind of closer to Leandrin in a way. And yeah, so how what do you think of the way that whole thing unraveled?
Yeah. If we were to go through the entire storyline, I guess now this is where it
I
could
mean,
be
we don't have to
confusing.
scene by scene, but like in general,
Yeah.
just like the Nynaeve, Leandrin.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I hate I'm going to use my Star Wars reference, but like because the show kind of portrays the Red Aes Sedai as like I won't say bad, like they're not evil, but they're pretty they're ruthless. They're definitely they're killing a bunch of guys. She kind of has that like Sith vibe where she's kind of starting to take someone on her side and like start slowly corrupt them a bit. And it seems like, unless I misinterpreted, because I watched these like I'm trying to catch up to Strider and watch these and be ready for the podcast, so I'm not internalizing everything. But did she do the? I'll call it the initiation, I guess. Did she do that behind the back of other Aes Sedai, or were the main Aes Sedai present for that ritual?
So she is being taken to the ritual at the very end of episode 2, but it
Yep.
has been agreed on basically. So they have this
Okay.
ritual where they have to go through the arches, which I will not tell you what it is. You'll see in the next episode. But it's like the initiation ritual. But it's not. It's like they're the right hand of the Amyrlin seat is there, and the one from the one that's in charge of the novices, the lady in blue.
Gotcha. They were
They
there.
and Leandrin are waiting for Nynaeve when she's about to go to the arches. But I was referring more to the reveal about Leandrin taking care of a
Oh,
man who seems to be incapable of speaking.
yeah, that was definitely interesting. I'm assuming they're going to reveal who he is at some point, and if they already did, then that shows how much I pay attention. But I'm going to theorize right now. I wonder if that's either a love interest or is he old enough to be her father? Um, or a relative or
So she says something along the lines of "my dear boy."
whoa, my dear boy.
I will not say anything further than this, and I'll just text
Whoa.
you until you get to the next episode, then, or I don't know when it gets
Are
explained
do
further.
Aes Sedai's like elves and they're immortal or they have longer lives? Dang.
They do have longer lives.
Okay, so all right, my dear boy. All right, there's something to ponder on there. Wow.
Yeah, adding another layer to who Leandrin is actually. But yeah, anyway, so that was an interesting scene, and it will come back once or twice, like this little subplot that ends up being relatively important. I mean, it's important for understanding Leandrin's
Hmm.
character. But yeah, I think that's kind of it with. Well, actually, no, that's not true. We can maybe circle back to our boy Matt. I was referring to like the storylines in the tower. We have Matt, who is imprisoned there. And I think we can just do like a quick mention here, then because we kind of covered it already. However, in episode 2, I'm just trying to get a photo, which is hard as usual. He meets someone there. So he was being, we see his big brain work. He's hiding while he's pretending, oh, I don't want to eat, I'm just chilling on the bed, and then he waits. He knows how long Leandro needs to get away, and then he starts digging through the wall, and he meets, I don't know if you recognize this person. Did you recognize her?
I was hoping she was the one from the bar.
Yeah, exactly. She's the seer. And
Yeah.
we last saw her sneaking out of Faldara, that city that was attacked in episode 8. We saw her sneaking out, and then we see her here. And yeah, she's also imprisoned by Leandrin or the Red Ajak. I don't know, one of those two. So that's just, I thought that was worth a mention there. But further on, we can go. I think we can now skip to one of the more active plots, even though actually in the first episode in particular, it's not very active at all. It's this plot of Moiraine, and the first episode opened with bringing water from the well, and we see this being repeated several times because she wants to have a bath. And I thought that was a very interesting scene because this is something she can do in like seconds or like minutes. She can get herself a bath. However, now that she's cut off from the one power, she has to do this foot by foot, bucket by bucket. And yeah, so we learned that she and Lan are in a house of some other sisters. I don't know the names off the top of my head. Verin, Adeleas, and the warder of one of them, and they're chilling in their house, kind of recuperating, I guess, trying to figure out what to do with their lives, and or rather waiting to see what Moiraine will do with her life because she's not cut off from the one power. So how did you find all of these characters? Like basically the whole story in first episode base is Moiraine doing some investigation work. She's visited by a pirate. At the same time, Alan is, well, not very amused. He's feeling like he's being shut out by Moraine, and yeah, it's just like a lot of interpersonal conflict going on, but it's kind of like a Cold War situation where it's like not very out there, but more like, and then complaining to other people, I guess. So how did you get this whole bit?
Yeah, like the first thing from this scene that jumps out to me was like the older ladies hitting on Lan. He's
Yeah,
like
not this
shirtless.
one. The other one is like, yeah,
So I remember that scene. And yeah, like I feel like unfortunately the storyline with at least in episode 1 is pretty forgettable for me. I guess I was focused on the other storylines more so. But it is interesting to kind of see Moraine deal with not being cut off from the powers and having to deal with the real world without them and deal with kind of recovering, I guess, with everything that happened. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, at least this season, like I loved her in season 1, but so far, like her character, I get maybe it's in an arc now where she has to ramp up and maybe she'll get her powers again or something interesting is going to happen. But yeah, right now her storyline isn't as interesting to me in the first 2 episodes. That's all I've gotten to for season 2.
Well, the thing that happens at the end of the episode, so it's like a whole episode of Lana being frustrated, she's being shot, she's shutting him out and so on, and then she leaves.
Oh yeah.
Kind of a hasty choice, and she ends up being attacked by a Fade, and there's this whole scene, and she, to her credit, on her own, with a dagger and her brains, she does manage to kill one of them, before obviously being wounded by another one, and then Lan jumps in, there's a fight scene, and they end up being saved by the two other Aes Sedai and the Warder, who I'm very sorry I don't remember the name of, but he's a really cool dude. So that was kind of a, oh wow, I did not expect this from you. To run off on a horse in the middle of the night, but I guess she is very focused on what her duty is, what she wants to do, and she's researching something which I do not want to spoil yet, but it's really cool for me to now look at it. They're planting the seeds for that thing, like that's really cool.
Okay, yeah, that explains it. Okay, so it's kind of like one of those things that once it happens, it's the rewatch factor that enhances it. They're hinting towards something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's worth
Yeah.
jumping ahead, but like for what I remember from the 2 episodes, like when I binged them together, this storyline, hopefully I'm not skipping too much, but I believe it ends with Lan and her separating, right? Like he basically, yeah. Is there any other bullet points you wanted to hit in the storyline before jumping into that?
That's actually the perfect timing. Yeah, that's yeah, you can go into that.
Yeah, so that was pretty brutal when she basically said she never saw him as an equal, and I said I can't lie. Yikes!
Yeah, she said we were never equals.
We were never.
That was a big one.
I hope
Yeah, and
maybe there's redeeming quality, and she's not lying, and she's lesser than him because he's like a heir to a throne or something, and they figure out a way to work. But yeah, if not, super brutal of her to say that.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I definitely agree with that. And then we learn that Alana and her two warders weren't actually on their way to meet them, and then that's when they separate when they get together with Alana and these two gentlemen. And yeah, she leaves and she says her loyalty is only to the dragon alone, and she leaves. But she does reveal to him that the dragon is alive, that Rand is alive. She reveals another thing, which is, well, I guess I'll keep using it for a bit more. I guess we'll come to that when we get to the last storyline. But we can maybe jump to Rand here. And do you remember what was Rand's storyline? Because when we do this, then we'll go to Perrin, and then from there we'll finish off with some big things.
So my horrible way of regurgitating this is almost like Rand's in like an old person home or like in
a crazy people asylum.
Yeah, sane asylum kind of thing. So you can think of the Joker movies, or randomly my brain went to Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Like so stupid, but
yeah, in the first part,
yeah, he pretends to be like a football player or something. Yeah, so funny, wearing a tutu. But yeah, random tangent there. But yeah, so he's there, and it sounds like he's there to try to learn. You found that so quick.
Because I know exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah,
Oh my
good
God.
old tutu dance.
Maybe we'll see a cameo from Ace Ventura in the sane asylum.
Yeah,
but
yeah, he is there.
He's there. Yeah, it sounds like he's trying to gather intel, maybe learn from, because it seems like a lot of the members there are, or at least some of the people there are men who went crazy, from my understanding. So the teaser at the end of it is he ends up meeting with
boy Logain.
Yeah, Logain. Yep. So we know he went crazy, and Semi knows who Rand is because of that whole getting paraded down the streets of the city and laughing manically at him. So I'd be curious to see where that storyline goes. I'm trying to see if I missed anything with the Rand storyline. Oh yeah, he has like a new love interest, and I wanted to look up that actress real quick because she looks very similar, and I don't want to misspeak, but
Can you not do this? No, stop. You should not Google that. I will Google it. Do
okay,
not
yeah,
search for the actress.
okay, yeah. If you can Google, I want to say she looks like someone from Peaky Blinders.
And you are correct. That is exactly who she is. That is Natasha.
Nice. Perfect. Ironically, it seems like she plays a similar role in both shows. In Peaky Blinders, I don't think it's spoilery. I highly recommend if anyone listening haven't seen Peaky Blinders, it's totally worth it. It's a show that ramps up.
Oh, that's an insane quality show. Absolutely.
Yeah, highly recommend. The way I pitch it is it's like Breaking Bad, but set in between World War One and World War Two. It's like one way to describe it. And Cillian Murphy's in it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she plays a character in Peaky Blinders where she was a prostitute and then kind of weaves her way into the family and becomes like she might even become his wife, or she. Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while. There's a lot of seasons, but
she definitely grows over time. Like there's a big arc there going on.
It's a big arc, and it seems like based on how they're depicting her in the show, it's like she's a love interest, but we don't know how deep it is quite yet. But yeah, oh yeah, that's a photo of her. Yeah, she has a pretty big arc in Peaky Blinders. So
yeah, she was a surprisingly big character throughout. And yeah, here, there's a connection between the two of them, definitely. So yeah, it seems like Rand is here trying to get to Loghain. Specifically, he's kind of like on the mission. We see him like going through trying to like climb the ranks to get to this position. And he ends up killing a guy, which was a wild moment. He kills that other guy who was working in this asylum. He just straight up kills him. And I mean, there's a moment where it's like it's an odd scene. I wonder if that was like in the books as well. But like he just, I don't know if he would just want to hurt him or something, but he definitely ends up killing him. And there's like a moment where he's channeling, and he's finding it hard to stop. So he basically just kills the guy.
Oh, and on that note, in case I misinterpreted, the guy he killed, was it the guy that was kind of bullying?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He was that old man veteran.
Justified. I'll give it to him. Justified.
Yeah. Just fair enough. I'm not gonna dispute this. Yeah, and I guess that's kind of where this ends up. Like there's a moment where the two of them, Leandrin and not Leandrin, Celine and Rand are laying together in bed, and they're talking about who they think of when they are together, and she says she loved someone a lot, but being with him, it makes her remember of this other guy, and it kind of like makes her feel as if it's almost like happening again. And he's on his side, he wants to forget. And I really like this line because it felt like something that I could see like two broken people, definitely, like broken from love people kind of do. Like it sounds like very relatable, not on a personal level, but like I can imagine that kind of an emotion going between two people where it's like, I want to forget, so this person is going to help him forget, but the other way around, I come trying to like cling onto this kind of memory from the past, and this person is going to allow me to cling to it. It's an odd little emotional knot there, I guess. But it just felt like a very interesting scene.
Agree.
Yeah, but she is, the actress is, I think, she's definitely more than 10 years old, I think, than the guy playing Rand. So that's an interesting combination there. But yeah, he's a big boy.
The old Elrond treatment.
Yes.
Too soon.
It will never not be too soon, I'm afraid. But yeah, that's kind of it. I guess we went through this through all of the plot, I guess, basically, except that, and now we can go into this. Perrin is out there with the Shian. No, they're not. Are they Shianchan?
Shienarans.
Shienarans. The Shianchan are the other guys. These are the Shienarans, I think. Perrin, Loyal, join Shienarans, led by Ingthar. So that's like that main warrior dude. Like he's like the nobleman, and they're looking for the stolen horn that Padan Fane has taken in previous episode at the end of season 1. And yeah, like, how did you feel about seeing Loyal alive? Because he looked kind of very much dying at the end of episode 8.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't mention that at the get-go. So talking about that last season, I'm like, oh, they just killed off everyone, including my favorite character right now. And then cut to this episode and he's back and they don't explain like any of that. It's just like, nope, everything's fine. I get it. I guess from like a writing standpoint, it's like, who cares watching them mend? Like there's more story to get to, but I feel like they intentionally left the last season with the cliffhanger that, like, did they die? Did they not die? So the fact that they didn't find a way to address it was very strange to me. But I don't know, that might have been a editing flop, maybe. Like maybe they shot it and it just somehow got cut out of the editing room. But yeah, sorry, editor. I don't mean to blame you.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. Now I'm glad Loyal's back. He's going strong, still fighting. So yeah.
Good guy, Loyal. Yeah, and I think that's just one of those issues where, again, it's Amazon's fault. We could have had more time. I will never not say this. I mean, they messed up this show bad. They let it down on like, I think at least like on 3 different levels. I'm gonna say marketing. Then the second level is the fact that they keep insisting on this stupid, unnecessary thing, which I ranted about already in one of the previous episodes, which is like 8 episodes per season, 1 hour per episode. Instead of like, just give us 10 episodes, give us 12 episodes, give us however many episodes are needed for every season. You're the boss.
Yeah.
It's your streaming service. Nobody's on the top of your head. But it's like all the algorithms, I guess, say, oh, it's 8 episodes. That's max. And then the third layer, of course, is the fact that they canceled the show when it hit its glorious stride. And even in this episode, even in this season, yeah, I think I think you will agree with me at the end of season 2. Yeah, I'm looking forward to your experience. But I think the show is already seeming much better, and it will like seem much better by the end of this season, and then season 3 is just great. But anyway, that was a little bit of a rant, as I often do. But they are following they're trying to, yeah, they're on the hunt for the Horn of Valir, and they have hired this guy who's the tracker, the sniffer, as one of those soldiers, mockingly calling him. And there's a lot of like, I think some solid banter between the soldiers, which feels very appropriate. Just, banter amongst the dudes, and this one guy being like all braggy and like, I almost caught Padan Fane. It was not my fault that we failed to catch him. It was like whatever's fault. And then them just like winding him up for this. And it just like felt like, okay, that's good stuff.
Yeah. The
So
other
yeah, what
thing
did
I
you think of
like
the gang and
too,
like this whole hunt thing? Yeah.
yeah, I kind of like I don't know what, it kind of reminded me. Oh God, another tangent. Sorry, guys. Band of Brothers. I don't know if you've seen that show on HBO,
Yeah. Hell
but
yeah.
the scene is like it's a stretch, but it was to me reminiscent on how they shot it. But like having them cross the river, like leaving the horses behind, and then they're kind of, I guess you call it stealth ambushing because they have their swords drawn. They're quietly going into the building and trying to search for people. Like that scene, it just reminded me of like some of the Band of Brothers scenes where they had to clear towns and go through, and the way they shot, they had some like first person shots almost and stuff like that. So remind me of that. I thought that I really liked how the scene was done, and I really do like that seer effects where you, or even I guess Perrin has it too, where you can kind of see what happened. And yeah, I thought they did a good job of kind of depicting that, and then getting the dialogue from, I don't know the character's name, but the new guy who has yellow eyes.
I'm not sure what his name is actually. I don't even know if it's already
Oh,
mentioned by now.
Eyeless.
Or it was.
Eyeless, apparently. He kind of gave him the like feedback or
Yeah.
of like, oh yeah, you got to be careful of losing yourself from like reality and the visions. I thought that was pretty cool. I really liked, like, you think about like all the fantasy sci-fi shows out there, like the different attributes, and I don't know, I feel like this is the first time it's with stuff I watched where you have this kind of like seer tracker effect on screen. I guess you can kind of argue similarly to like Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, how he's a tracker, but that was like more traditional, like he just knows how to look at footprints and smells and stuff. But in this, it's
Yeah,
like an actual,
yeah.
yeah, like a supernatural thing. Which, yeah, so I really think that's a cool. I don't know how innovative it is. I'm not hugely read. I've read Lord of the Rings and a couple of other series, but I don't know if it's a sci-fi fantasy trope where it's used a lot, but it seems pretty
I don't
unique
think
to
it
me.
is. I think it is. I'm sure like you could drop out with some other thing that's somewhere before or after the books and so on. But I do think it did feel quite unique to me as well. Yeah, and I think they're just teasing a lot of things, interesting things like for Perrin. But as I said in one of the previous episodes we did here, they apparently they're kind of holding back on his story. It should be progressing more faster, but I guess for whatever pacing reason they chose to like kind of tone it down, I guess. So yeah, but I mean so far I think
Hmm.
it's very interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
But we see, I cannot find the photo, and I think maybe also it's better if I do not show it. But when they enter here and they see that there's a fade that's been nailed on a door, they're like, what the hell does this to a fade? And it's kind of a hint for some of the things that are going to happen afterwards. They reach this settlement. I don't know if it's like a village or like a small town maybe, but very soon after that they actually get attacked by this invasion force of some kind, and there's this big fight scene, and we see that we see the capabilities of this group of fighters, but they do get overwhelmed relatively fast, I guess. So how did you feel about this fight scene? Like when these soldiers wearing these like masked, like almost skull-like helms just attack all of them and kind of like manage to subdue them. And then at the end, there's even a couple of some kind of magic wielders that show up there. We saw them at post-credits scene, quote unquote, at the end of season 1. So what was your take on what was your opinion of this whole fight scene at the end and like the build up to it and like the culmination and yeah.
Yeah, I thought this battle scene was pretty engaging. It kind of caught me by surprise. Like I forgot how they led into the, like, were they like resting and then all of a sudden they got attacked? Like
Yep.
I don't yeah, so it kind of caught me by surprise. Oh yeah, they were sleeping, and then Perrin wakes up and sees the shirtless guy swinging. Yeah, so I thought they did a good job of depicting like the chaos of battle there. The I guess to add to the my confusion is I thought only Aes Sedai had the powers, but I guess it's fair that a non Aes Sedai could have powers if they learned how to use them on their own or something. So the women in whatever army, I think they're called
These are the
Xi-
Xianchan or whatever is the
Xianchen.
association. Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like they're using powers, and they basically use their powers to overpower the warriors and subdue them. So, and you have on the screen the biggest shock is the man is in the flesh with these people. That was kind of a shock to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's side.
That
I guess he's
was
picking a side. They must be bad? Question mark. Corrupted, maybe.
Yeah, so he is so at some point in these episodes, Moiraine says to actually I think just before they're gonna depart, but just before they're gonna split, Moiraine says to Lan that they did not destroy the Dark One. They set free his greatest lieutenant, hint
Oh,
hint. And
he's the
I'm
Witch
just
King.
gonna it is this is basically the equivalent of the Witch King, this dude right here. And yeah, like what his plan is, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but it's probably not the best of things.
And I have a dumb question to come towards the end of the stream. Is the little girl from episode 8 that gets bodied by a giant wave, is that the same girl at the beginning of episode 2 or season 2, or is that a different girl?
I hope it's a different girl, because if it's not, that just became the biggest mystery of the show.
Like
Yeah,
I'm
like
looking at their photos and
yeah.
they look similar, different. They do look different, so they must be different.
I mean, they must be
But yeah,
different.
it's like,
I don't think there's any, but that would be like an insane thing.
so it's like, is it an origin story of a future Aes Sedai survived the wave
Yeah, yeah.
somehow? Like, but Apparently, it's just a random
Yeah, I mean
girl gets
that
taken out for no reason.
I mean, yeah, the fact that we saw like this whole damn wave, like a tsunami, like a proper huge tsunami, and it just falls on the beach where there's like a little girl. What the hell? Like that. I think that's the
Yeah,
biggest overkill I've ever seen in anything ever. Like just nuking an ant colony. What? So anyway, yeah,
strange.
uh, I
All
forgot
right.
about that. Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of it, I guess. Hint for more. Just a quick shout out. Perrin is reaching his peak form. The hair, like he looks so cool. The hair, the beard is this is a one handsome dude. That's all I'm gonna say. And I
Dig
don't know. I
it.
just really like all the characters. I like really all of the like the main like the five of them. Nynaeve is because she's angsty and like obviously that on average those people are not they're harder to relate to, but she does get it all makes sense as the story goes on. But I do find them all quite likable, and but especially I feel like Matt and Perrin, like I really like those characters. I feel like, and even the new Matt, I think that actor is doing a really good job, and I mean we'll see as the seasons go on.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
I think we can start wrapping up now. Yeah, I guess we can start doing the quiz.
Nice. All right. Yeah.
All
So
right.
I guess for final thoughts, I guess I'll just say that I'm still very interested in the show, and I'm looking forward to season 2. I can already see like a quality improvement, so I'm excited to finish it.
I'm very happy to hear that. Since it dragged you into this, that's very good news for me. Um,
Oh,
All right. So let's see which Ajif are we. So we're gonna do this quiz. I'm gonna share it here, and you'll be able to see my answers. But I encourage you all to do yours. So I guess we can go like at the same time, like question by question, like one answer, like as I answer, you answer yours, and then we just do it like this, and then we just go through our results together. I guess
this is a hard question. Yeah.
it is. I think we can try to go like with the trust the force, not overthink it. Yeah, let's see. So starting off with the hard question, what would you say drives you the most in life out of these options? Spite, a desire to bring about justice, a desire to do good, change things for the better, knowledge and or fantasy. So I mean, this is the nature of these things. So I'm just gonna go with this, then desire to make things better. Yeah, I think it kind of started very early on with reading the Lord of the Rings and being like, I want to be like this Aragorn dude or like this Boromir guy and like Faramir. Like they're trying to do good things and they're nice. Maybe I should try to do this. So I feel like it's an easy answer, I guess.
At me, I'm stuck between a desire to do good and knowledge and or fantasy.
I mean,
Uh,
obviously I'm stuck as well, but I feel like I do like in the last couple of years there was a lot of reflection that I've been doing, and I do think that's kind of like an overarching theme is kind of this. Not that I manage all the time, but I try, I guess.
I'm gonna go with that too. Desire to do good.
Oh yeah. Okay. So is violence ever the answer? Sometimes, depends on the situation. Much more often than people think it is. Almost never. I'm just gonna go with sometimes. I feel like that's a pretty solid middle ground for
See,
me. But
that question's hard too because like I find myself, oh god, I don't want to bring too many politics into this, but like I'll just keep it general. Like we have wars currently going on in the world, right?
yeah.
And innocent people are dying,
Yep.
and it's like why is that violence occurring? So if you're is violence ever the answer? If it's almost never, that's kind of like if you look at it systematically, if no one's fighting each other and no one's doing bad things, there should never be violence. But because some people do bad things, sometimes you have to meet violence with violence, unfortunately. So it's like violence should never be the answer. But unfortunately, some people look at that as the answer and then there's retaliation. So I'm just going to say
Yeah.
sometimes too.
I
It should
yeah.
never be.
It should never be the answer. I agree. I guess I'm rushing this a little bit. I really like the way you put that, and I agree 100%. The reason why I was instantly drawn to saying sometimes I had this defensive situation in mind, like the only if you can say this, the only good, and again that's like 15,000 quotes unquote war is the defensive one, and like it doesn't have to be a war. It can be like if somebody's attacking you, if somebody's actively attacking you, you cannot be like, hey dude, stop while somebody's punching you in the face. Not that
Yeah.
happened. Luckily I was able to avoid fighting. Like I was lucky enough to avoid most of the physical conflicts in my life, I guess. Sometimes it's necessary, and sometimes you have to defend, and that still can be violent, defending yourself. But the main reason why I came to this was because there's a lot of stuff happening in my country now, a lot of oppression by like masked thugs who are posing as police officers because the government needs them. They are using criminals. They're emptying prisons, putting police uniforms on criminals, and using them as a police force. You got to do stuff in such a situation. This is and I agree, it should never be the answer. But that's why it's like sometimes, because it does depend on the situation.
Yeah, tough stuff.
All right. I mean,
Tough
it's not easy to
stuff.
choose your Rajak. Okay. Which do you enjoy the most out of these? Learning, gaining knowledge and insight, real world experiences, trying something new, talking, interacting with those similar to me, reading fiction. I think this is a hard one because it doesn't hit any particular, like, I kind of like all of those, It's like, which one do you enjoy the most? It's not a very easy thing to answer.
I think for me, see, it's the learning, gaining knowledge and insights, one of them. Like I find myself listening to like the Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I love
Yeah.
learning about science and stuff, but
Wheel of Time, listening to this.
podcast.
Yeah, record it and you just listen to it.
What did I say?
Oh, this is so. What an interesting point. These guys are so smart.
I'm learning so much. I actually am learning a lot from you, which is great, speeding up my knowledge of Wheel of Time. But the real world experience is trying something new. Like in my personal life, when I was in the band, I got to travel the world and I got to experience different cultures and take me out of my comfort zone. And I think that's probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done. So I think I'm going to go with real world experiences.
Yeah, I think that's the one for me as well. I've been living in a different country since a bit more than 3 years. Well, actually, almost 4 years at this point. Like a couple of months, and it'll be 4 years. So I feel like I've also gotten a lot of new experiences firsthand. I saw a bit more of. I haven't traveled like outside of Europe, but still I've traveled around Europe, and it's been like a lot of learning experiences. So I think I'll go with the same, and I do think that's a pretty big one. I wish everybody had the option to travel, besides obviously having the bare minimum of what every human being deserves, which is food, water, medicine, and everything else, and then education, and then so on and so on. And we go down the list of priorities, and then traveling, once they're safe and sound and everything is good, the option to travel and get to meet people, and I guess learn about the world and figure out and yourself and your place. And I mean, it's a whole thing. But yeah, I think that's for me as well. I think that's the best one.
I think our odds are going to come out the same at this point. We haven't varied much yet.
Actually, yeah, you're right. We haven't. Okay, pick one. Go out, stay home.
So this is a problem for me. If you were to ask me this a little while ago, I would say go out. But I find myself enjoying staying at home more. I get to watch Wheel of Time. So I'm kind of contradicting my last thing. I'm reading this, I guess, as what would you like to
People
do
are
more
complicated,
of? Yeah. So I'm going for myself. I'm gonna stay at home. I can read. I can do stuff. That's my choice.
That's interesting. So for me, I have been spending way too much time at home for a lot of reasons. So I'm gonna go with going out, because I do think I should actually be going out way more than again, living in a different country, it's quite stressful, and a lot of my brain power gets drained. I'm kind of mentally often on a defensive, and at those times you need to stay home because that's your safe place, right? So, but what I want to do is actually, I want to be more active. I want to be out doing more things. So I'm gonna go with go out. Okay, the first split. Okay, pick one.
Oh God.
Eternity, life, death, time.
What the heck does that even mean?
So I say we set like a standard, like how we are interpreting this. It's confusing because one of these is death, which is, according to what I'm about to say, that's kind of depressive. It's like, which one do you want which one do you desire more? Hopefully not death. Eternity, it's like, do you want to live forever? Life, I'm not sure how to define, how to compare this, but like time, because I would be like, okay, I want more time. to do stuff. Like I want more time to have a better life. But I feel like the answer for me is time. But I don't know. Like, how would you read this question?
That's kind of, you know what, that's where I was leaning, because it is similarly, I don't know, there's probably good examples that I could pull from. I can't think of it right now, but eternity. Oh yeah, Lord of the Rings. What am I talking about? My God, death is considered the gift of man, right? It's
Yeah.
there. It's not looked at as a negative. It's you're given a finite amount of time on Earth, and and it makes you cherish and want to live life to the fullest.
To
So
make every
eternity, if you
moment count.
yeah, so if you're living to eternity, like if that's how you interpret this question, everything's kind of meaningless, because like you can just do whatever for whatever, and eventually you're gonna get bored. So I would say time, and my reason for time is I would love to be around for different technological advances in society, or be around for like when they remake Lord of the Rings, no, 20 years, when they make the Silmarillion. There we go. I want to be alive for that. So yeah, time. I'm going with time.
Yeah. I guess we're back on the same one. Okay, are your convictions and opinions set in stone or are they more fluid? So for me, okay, so set in stone, fluid, I like think that my deepest beliefs are above petty opinions. I'm not sure. So actually, how do you do you get this? Like, what does this mean?
Yeah, so it's a little tricky. So there's a couple ways you can interpret this, in my opinion. Are your convictions or opinions set in stone? Oh God, I have a
I mean, like
controversial
this
one with.
third answer in particular.
Yeah, with the way I interpret this is when you if you have beliefs that are set in stone and you just kind of like, nope, this is my belief, you're kind of shutting yourself away from knowledge and
Yeah,
growth. So fluid like came to mind, but what's kind of challenging for me is I might be more gravitated to the third option of I like to think my deepest beliefs are above petty opinions. I have, I guess, one personal example. I am straight edge, which for people that don't know what that is, I've taken a life oath to myself not to drink or do drugs. For people that don't know what straight edge is, it kind of originated from the hardcore metal scene in the 80s, I believe. And it's kind of been around music ever since. And I kind of discovered it when I was in my middle school ages. And yeah, I was kind of like, oh, no, this makes sense to me. And that's something. I'm 35 years old and I still never drank anything or done any drugs. And that's kind of like a core belief I have for myself. And I haven't wavered from it. There's some other stuff. So yeah, I don't know if like my deepest beliefs won't change, I feel like, but other things I am open to new information. Like I'm like Pluto being a planet, right? I was taught that as a kid.
yeah.
New data comes out, Pluto's not a planet. Sorry, folks. So yeah, I changed it. I don't believe Pluto's a planet anymore.
Reason. I don't know. I think for me, I'm a faithful man, and I say Pluto is still a planet, and you're absolutely wrong. Sorry,
Dun,
but you
dun,
are.
dun.
However, I do. I also think like I did change a lot of my opinions, or like they kind of evolved. So I feel like saying they're more fluid. Some are set in stone. Some things are like I will go with my head through the wall for a couple of things that have
Yeah.
been that I have decided upon when I was like 8 or 9. Like reading these books. Like I mean, this is the Lord of the Rings channel that we're at that originated with the Lord of the Rings. Like reading the Lord of the Rings and being like, okay, this Argon guy, like this feels like a good person to be. You can never be because he's obviously an ideal. But like these things, it's like just be a good person, and like there are some things that a good person has to like. There are certain tenets that if you're trying to be a good person, this is what you do. Just being decent, helping out people, keeping a secret, like keeping a secret, for example. I think that that's a good thing to say. Like this is set in stone. I will not break trust unless it's like for some extremely important thing. Like, if somebody tells me, hey, okay, I went to a very dark place, if somebody's telling me that they are maybe thinking about harming themselves, it's we went very serious here.
Oh
Like
God.
I could consider sharing this actually, even if this person tells me not to, because obviously I'm maybe afraid for like this. But it's like a very extreme situation, but it's like, do not tell this anyone, I will not tell it. So I feel like there are these things, but again, so it's like that's kind of leaning towards answer number 3. like my deepest beliefs are above like a random opinion. So I'm not sure what to click here. Like fluid. I'm gonna say fluid because I feel like I evolved a lot as a person. I became more open, more understanding of some topics in the world in recent years. So I'm just gonna go with fluid. And I think we need to do it deep philosophy for every single.
I'll click on I think my deepest beliefs are above petty opinions because I think
Just to like keep it spicy, like so we are a bit
keep
different.
it spicy and it's saying deepest, so that's not saying all my beliefs. So the other beliefs can be
Yeah.
fluid.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay.
Oh,
What is one of his flaws? I'm not going to read all of them. I'm just going to say probably prone to isolation and inactivity. I think I've been doing a lot of this in the last couple years. I said, like, I'm kind of always on a mental defensive living in this bloody country. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But I guess isolation and inactivity. That's why I want to go outside more. Overly rational, like a sympathy, no. Inattentive, restlessness, no. Anger, violence, no. Single-minded, rather mundane, no. Meddling and lying. So I think for me it's isolation activity. What's with you?
I'm thinking the same. Can say one that half of it was drawn to me, prone to being overly rational, tend to be more on the rational side, less on the emotional side. But I have empathy, so I don't lack sympathy. So I don't feel like that's too strong for me to go with one half of it. So isolation and inactivity, I guess, is the only. I think that's remnants of COVID for me. So I'm just gonna
Yeah,
put that.
that was one of the moments where it started developing for me as well. Okay, pick the quote that resonates the most with you.
Oh my God, there's a Tolkien quote.
Oh yeah, look at that. There's two talking quotes. Mark Twain, Shakespeare.
No, I'm gonna give these a fair shake. I'll read them all.
Three quotes from Tolkien. You can only come to the morning through the shadows. And the J.R. Martin quote. Shockingly, I'm gonna go probably for one of the Tolkien quotes because man, that guy had quotes. This one from Rumi is also really nice.
Yeah, that one stuck out to me so far.
But for me, it's the other two Tolkien quotes that I'm kind of. You can only come to the morning through the shadows, which is like the only way out is through. Like if you're, it's reminiscent of many other quotes. It's, if you find yourself in hell, keep walking. That's a good one. And then this one, so comes snow after fire, and even dragons have their endings. But it's like a similar vibe actually. It's like there is, like the light can be even behind a dragon, or like even if you're in the shadows, like a light. This is a way to get to this. So it's like I'm kind of stuck because it's a similar vibe, I think. But I don't know. What are you thinking?
Whew, yeah, they're talking about philosophical. One, so the William Shakespeare, "Hell is empty and all the devils are here." That one spoke to me a bit, and the Rumi one as well about raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. I like that because it's similar to violence and stuff, like and kind of taming your emotions. You don't need to lose your temper to make your point known.
I'm gonna go with. I think that's a good one, but I'm gonna go with "So comes snow after fire, and even dragons have their endings." Because I feel like it's a bigger quote than the other one I really like as well. Like the one with the shadows is kind of like encompasses that as well, but it's like in a cooler way. So I'm just gonna go with this because I'm a nerd and there are dragons here.
All right, I'll go with the Rumi quote.
All right, going against against the type. Okay, what is one of your main strengths?
I know mine. That was quick.
What is it?
I am calm and somewhat wise.
Yeah, I'm thinking this one, or I'm helpful and usually friendly. I am very helpful, probably overtly helpful, or overly helpful, not overtly helpful. I'm gonna go with that, and usually friendly. Okay, pick
Nice.
apart. My favorite character's mantra from the snow, the song of ice and fire. Swift as a deer, calm as still water for me. It's a weird question, but I'll just ignore it and choose the quote I like the most. Calm as still water. What do you think?
I am gonna go with fear cuts deeper than swords. And reason for that is, well, think about Dune. Fear is the mind killer.
Here is the mind killer.
I feel like the slight philosophical on this is like, God, what's the quote from The Office from Wayne Gretzky? Like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, or whatever.
Don't take.
You don't take, yeah.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
it's true.
yeah. So I kind of attribute that quote to that, and like anything I've ever done that had mild success was from me being scared and saying, screw it, I'm going to do it.
All right. Which do you think would be your role in a book? The hero heroine, the unique mysterious side character? I do not see myself fitting any specific role in the story. The morally gray character, supporting character. I like that. I think it's like a random Tumblr post. If you're ever feeling sad or anxious or angry at yourself because you're not doing enough, you feel like you're not failing, you're struggling with your mental health, you're struggling with this, struggling with that, whatever. I don't remember the exact quote, but just remember, if you were a character in a book or a TV show or something, people would really like you because you're struggling, you're relatable, you're human. That was kind of like the vibe. I was like, that's such a neat thing to say. So every once in a while, not every time I feel like crap, but like every once in a while, this do think of this. It's like, it's good to be kind to yourself. If you're the hero of a story, then you're the hero of a story, and everybody's a hero of their story. So like we could all be a hero. But I don't know if it's like a fantasy book. I would probably be. I don't know if I would be the main hero. I don't know if I'm cool enough for that. But I would be like the lovable nerd or something. Probably like as this nerd guy who just likes cookies and cuddles and is just nice. So that would probably be me. So probably like a supporting character, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
if that was
debating.
like a cute comic, not cute, but like nice comic relief, like that would probably be this one for unintentional comedy. What do you think?
For me, I was thinking supporting character or the unique, mysterious side character. I've been called
I don't think
mysterious in my past, but
I haven't been. There were times it kind of happened, but usually it's like, especially as I am now, like I've grown more and more like comfortable with like being a nerd, and it's like, okay, hi everybody, nice to meet you. This is over nice. If you want to know something about me, I'm a nerd. So if you like this, I'm your man. If you do not, that's also nice. But I'm letting you know what I am. This is who I am. So you can decide what you want to do with this. So I feel like I'm not mysterious. I'm the mystery is going down. So I'm just gonna go with supporting character.
all right, I'll do the unique. I feel like I got a lot of backstory,
Oh,
so I'll go with the unique, mysterious character,
neat.
side
Finally,
character.
pick the image. Pick the image you vibe with the most.
What the heck? How do you answer that? I thought that was a hot tub at first, and I was like, all right, that's the vibe, but that's not a hot tub.
However, those are some the Lord of the Rings swords there. At least one from Theoden is there, which means that I'll probably click on that one,
Harrogrim.
even though it's not. But
Oh,
actually,
that's like
actually
Boromir's
what?
sword too.
No,
Similar.
he's not. Yeah, I don't think it is. Actually, this is a big one. Like this is one of the big ones where it kind of tells you like who you are. Like this is the last question. It's like for example, the warrior. Like if you choose the sword, it's probably gonna like be a big point for the warriors. Yes, but still, if we vibe with this, then we vibe with this. So we have this nerdy little thing here, something to chill on the seaside. Fire as a nice little room. This is water and nature. This is like some cool building, I guess.
What's the hand? Not the
It's
fire
like,
hand or whatever, but the blue one?
I guess somebody touching the water, like just a little bit. You can see like the rings of water spreading.
Oh man, this is hard. None of these
You
speak
know,
to
I
me. Like
yeah.
the sword.
For me, I feel like I can connect to most of them. I mean, swords is just like cool. I want to have all the swords of the world, and I don't ever want to use them. I just want to have them on wall because they're cool, and I can pretend I'm slaying a dragon or like some evil dragon or something. But I actually don't want to have to use them properly. The nerd stuff, that's clear. Being on a beach, that's nice. Big, nice building, it's cool. Being able to shoot fire or something, whatever, that's nice. Touching the water, fine as well. I feel like this one, like the nice room with the window, I feel like maybe and like it's green and tidy and cute and so on. So I think maybe I'll go with this because even though I'm incapable because of who I am as a person too, and the way my brain works, and like how organized I am and neat and everything, I wouldn't be able to make something this cute, but like I feel like this is kind of like something I wish I was kind of more like having this little orderly thing. It was like there's a lot of trees and stuff, so I'm just gonna go with that. So tell me when you're ready to click.
Think I'll go with the touching of the water, and I'm gonna loosely equate that to a hot tub. Touching the hot tub.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, 3, 2, 1. I am the blue.
All
Which one
right,
are you?
tell me about the blue.
All right, the blue. The Blue Ajah are focused on justice, righteousness, and general matters of ethics and morality. They are generally discreet, active, and morally upright people who value truth and justice beyond anything else. Though they can lose themselves in their work and have a reputation for being easily swayed by emotion, they accomplish much and are vital. Being easily losing yourself in work, which usually is nothing useful. I'm just losing myself in creating my D&D homebrew world or something. But still, and having a reputation for being easily swayed by emotion, that sounds about right. Yeah, discreet. I can be discreet if I need to be. Yeah, morally up. Well, I mean, I try to be nice, good person. But yeah, it's pretty good. I think it kind of fits. I think like I would be shocked if it was like the red one. That would be insane. But yeah, what about you?
All right, I'm going to read the description for the first time. I didn't read any of the text yet. I'm the Gray Aja, which
Ooh,
is focused on meditation, diplomacy, and politics. They are typically calm, tend to focus on the big picture, and work well with others. Often they are asked to be judged or to be a judge or jury conflicts. Though they can be prone to discrimination, isolation, and inactivity, they play a vital role. Wow. All
nice.
right. Well,
I called yours. I said like you're gonna be a brown or a gray one because
wow.
you were like Ravenclaw. I was like, okay, based on this,
Man, that's
nice.
pretty cool. Yeah, I would say
All
that's
right,
it's
so
pretty accurate on my like the calm, tend to focus on big pictures, work well with others,
yeah,
and I guess I would be sad if someone bullied me. You better not be bullying me in the comics, people.
all you red Ajak people. All right. Well, there we go. This took way longer than we planned, by a lot. Hopefully I think we can. Oopsie, I think we can cut this. Maybe we can make like a separate video out of this.
That might be smart.
She was trying to do the which Ajak are you? But yeah. Anyway, there we go. I guess that's it.
Hmm.
We'll be coming back soon with more Wheel of Time, and we'll be talking about other nerdy stuff around as well. Thanks if you have stayed this long. Maybe you did this with us, or you got bored within 2 minutes of the whole episode, of the 2 minutes of the quiz. I don't know. Kudos to you. You're the best if you stayed this whole time. We love you so much. You're the real MVP. But yeah, let us know in the comments below which Ajak are you, and like, did you do this quiz?
Hmm.
I think it's a pretty interesting quiz, and it was actually, I think it's actually really cool to do this with someone because like you can kind of exchange thoughts instead of like doing like a quick okay, this I think so yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well done, Shiv, with great.
I liked it. Yeah, good idea to do this quiz.
Yeah. Thanks to one of the people, Nerdy Guns, I think, on one of our previous videos. This person said that they would like to see us hear our results. So there you go. You got the whole thought process recorded. So yeah, cheers to you. Yeah, anyway, that is all for tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you have tuned in, I'm really curious. Like, we got to check these numbers at some point soon. Yeah, take care. Go sign the petition if you haven't. Save Wheel of Time. Though at this point, maybe there's no more point, but let's see. Hope remains. Yeah, that would be all. Thank you very much. Have a good evening and talk to you very soon. And thank you, Shiv, for being with me tonight. Sorry I didn't give you the chance
Anytime.
to sign out.
Anytime. Thanks for hosting.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks to Warking, who's going to be packing all of this up and preparing it to be imported and everybody sharing the socials and so on. It's late here, so I'm kind of getting tired. And yeah, cheers. Have a good night. And this is it. Full hour and a half. Bye bye.